Okay, I'm going to try to get as much in this little video as I can. I got a question about a burner. This is the kind of burner I need. It's a coal wood.
It's not showing anything. It's too bright yet. There.
Pretty sure that's what it is. I brought it off of a wood carver who passed away. Well, I didn't buy it off of him. I bought it off his wife. Anyway, I had a detail master for a number of years. I got tired of it. It just didn't seem to hold heat as much as I like. Then I switched over to another brand, which I didn't care for. It didn't hold heat, but this one seems to hold heat. And another good thing, it's also the cheapest. I only paid $50 for this, but I think the brand new one only costs a little over $100. And as far as tips go, I use, well, this was an M tip. It's just a small chisel. I buy it because there's a lot of material up here to burn away over time, so it seems to last a lot longer. And it has consistent heat, which is another real good thing. And as far as burning features, you know, it's like anything, you can do too much or you can do too little. I set mine at 6, and I always make sure I've sharpened my tip before I start. And you just want light strokes. You don't need real heavy strokes. That's all you really need. And what this does is it just creates a shadow effect that you don't normally get if you don't paint the shadows in, which most people don't. This just makes them stand out that much more. And it's not that hard to do. But like I say, you know, don't go overboard on this. Basically what this is, especially around the eyes, it really helps around the eyes. It's just like, you know, eyeliner that women use. But, like I said, you know, you can use too much. And if you overshoot your burn line, you can always come back and just take a little sliver off to get rid of it. It really makes the eyes look good. Okay, so anyway, that's that. Now, I'm going to go over to the paint table and we'll start painting. Okay, the first thing I like to do when I paint is the head, because that's the most important part. I've already burned all the lines in it. So first off, I'm going to spray her down. Get it good and wet. And by wetting it down, what this does, I've mentioned before, it draws that paint down into the wood. It doesn't just sit on top of the wood. It becomes a stain, more or less, than a solid color. What? Oh, Judy's complaining about the light. Hang on here, I'll fix it. Okay, first color I squeezed out is red iron oxide, all right? This is flesh color, and yellow ochre, all right? That's for flesh. Got my head, all the water soaked in now. So, get my yellow ochre here. That's plenty. out here. Mix her up. This takes lots of practice. You know, it's hard to say how much yellow you mix with red and all that. That's just something, you know, that comes over time, and the more you practice, the easier it becomes. But before you start painting, one thing I forgot to mention is go wash your hands. You don't want to handle your carving if you've got dirty hands. And then even then, only handle it as much as you have to. A lot of people, you know, before they paint, will wash your carvings with soap. I really wouldn't recommend that, because you wet the wood with soapy water, and that water is drawn down into the wood just like it did here. And no matter how hard you rinse it, you're never going to get it all out of there. And I don't know, you know, I've never done that, so I don't know what kind of an effect it has on the paint itself. But I don't know. I just don't think I would do it. If you wash your hands and, you know, use that Sandiflex wheel, that gets rid of most of the dirt right there. As you can see, it don't take much to color this. I only paint up to there because I like my boys to have a farmer's tan. They wear that hat all day long, so they're not going to get any sun up there on top. I just mixed up just enough. Okay, that's the first color. Let's mix up a little more. And his nose, the high points on the face receive more sun than the low points. So the nose is the most prominent, it sticks out. And the cheekbones are next. And that's what really gives your paint, your figure, character. You know, his nose is not necessarily red because he drinks a lot. It's because he's out in the sun a lot. This is a Montana guy. He's up there in big sky country. All right. Now, one thing, don't forget. Well, it'll take some work to get that gun out. What I was going to say is, when you're painting the head, don't forget, like I always do, to paint the hands at the same time. That way, you know, you don't have to go back and paint the hands later. Well, I'm going to skip that part. Okay. Okay, so we got that done. Where'd my rag go? I'm going to wipe this off. And find my midnight blue. This is midnight blue. Now, switch to a smaller brush here. I'm going to take just a little bit of that out of there. By a little bit. If you can zoom in on that, that's what I mean by a little bit. I mean, it's almost minute. And even then, sometimes I'm afraid to put it on there. See, that's just a little too strong right there. So I'm going to lighten it up a bit. This blue is not because the guy is sick or anything. It's just because people have a dark blue color. Not dark blue, but a bluish tint to the skin around their eyes. And for his beard, maybe you could use just a little more blue for that shadow, 5 o'clock shadow. And again, a lot of people, you know, they get their V-gouge out or whatever, and they go to town on the beard area of a face and, you know, dig out depressions and everything. Well, when you're reducing the figure down to this size here, that's just not going to show. How much time we got there? 11 minutes. Okay, now these colors look kind of bleached out, flat now, but when we varnish it, all these colors are going to really look, they're going to take a deeper appearance and really look nice. Okay, for the beards, I like to use, well not for, well for beards, mustaches and hair, I like to use a brown called asphaltum. It's transparent, and it's a real rich brown. That should be enough. I have another brush here. You can see it's really rich. On the end grain, it's a lot darker than it is out on the lighter part of the wood. As you can see here, where it's darker up here than it gets down here. Quit here. You can see where I'm going with this. And cover as much as I can in the limited time we have.
14.
But, huh? 14, she says. I'll tell you about 15 minutes goes by quick. Painting the hair on his head is the same process. By having your carving wet or damp, it allows you to get nice blending between applications of the color. One just blends into the other. Now see the dark up here and the light down here? Well, that's actually a natural effect, because the longer hair is exposed to the sun, it'll get lighter out on the ends of the strands, because the sun will bleach it out. Okay, on the eyes real quick. I start on the eyes first with a 15 minutes. Let's see. I'm going to use, this is mudstone, this is another real good color. On the eyes, what I use is I use a very small brush. And I first paint them with a light gray. Just like that. Okay? And then I'll come back with white right in the middle. I only want that gray to remain out there on the very corners of the eye. Just like that. And to speed up the process here, I'm going to get my hair dryer. Get me some black. Because again, reduced to this size, doesn't matter what color the eye is, it's not going to show up as anything but black. And he's going to be looking off that way. Even though his head's turned, he's still going to have...
Too close. Sorry, I didn't see any of that.
Even though he's looking off, here's the front, even though he's looking off to the side, he's not going to be looking straight forward. He's going to be looking off to the side. So you'll want his eye just off center, just a little bit. So putting a dot of black paint there will aim that eye. And that's all you need right now, you know, after you've painted both eyes. Don't go ahead and paint the whole pupil yet until you get a lot of the other parts of the carving done. So you can actually see how the relationship of his look up there relates to the rest of his body. That way you won't have to paint the eye over again if it's off just a little bit to one side or whatever. It doesn't line up with the way you think it's going to line up. 18 minutes. Well, that's going to cut this video. So until next time, I will go ahead and finish painting the head. I think I've shown you enough on that right now. And we'll do another part of the body. So until then, I'll talk to you later.